everybody, and welcome back to a special Miami Open edition of the TennisONE podcast. We are joined by our esteemed colleague, Laura Sonday, once again, Patrick Kuhle, Madison Golden, here in the TennisONE app and on YouTube and on Spotify. Patrick and Laura are actually down in Miami, so can you guys just tell us a little bit about your experience in Miami thus far for the fans following along in the TennisONE app?
Take it away, Laura.
Yeah, well, first of all, everybody, if I didn't mention this on the last podcast, I live in Minnesota, and it's already 70 degrees here at almost 9 in the morning, and in Minnesota it's like 20, so I will absolutely take it. On top of that, so obviously this is one of the best places to be watching like a qualifying draw, and fans can get super up close and personal when players are practicing, which is really awesome. I think Miami does a great job of creating like an atmosphere that's not just for tennis. There's like, let me tell you, we're going to make a TikTok, a reel, whatever, of all of the Instagrammable spots on the Miami Open site, because, oh my gosh, they did such a good job like doing a ton of that. So stay tuned. I know you're all wondering. And yeah, they just do a good job of making sure that there's food, drinks, entertainment, like anything you could need on top of incredible tennis, because they want to make it more than just a tennis destination. So we're having a great time so far. Women's main draw starts today. Men's main draw starts tomorrow. So just gearing up for the weeks ahead.
Kuhle and the gang's going to be here this year. They have a concert series. So no T Swift. Wasn't in the budget, but maybe next year. Maybe
you know, she's only on the biggest tour of her career, so I'm sure that was a little bit tough to book her.
Couldn't swing Miami. Yeah, well, no, like Laura said, it's an awesome tournament. It's the biggest tournament that we do in the TennisONE app, so we're super excited. Didn't shortchange us on the hotel. Shout out IMG, very nice Nespresso pod machines in the room. Jeez, man, what else?
It looks pretty for those watching. Their backgrounds are obviously a lot better than my dad's kitchen. So, yeah, very, very nice. Well, we're going to do another draft. We know that that's a popular thing with you TennisONE podcast listeners. So Patrick's going to talk us through the rules, and then we're going to get going.
Yeah. So if you listen to our Australian Open or Indian Wells podcast for the draft, exact same format, especially as compared to Indian Wells that just happened 2 weeks ago. So we will have 4 categories that we're going to be picking from, and we are going to do a snake draft order. 4 categories are top 10 Netflix players, so the players that were in the first half of Breakpoint Season 1. Any player that is a wild card or protected ranking player, since the qualifying is not done yet. And then field is the 4th category. So that's anybody that doesn't fall into one of the first 3 categories. So should we do the snake draft order? I will show that on screen for anybody that's watching on YouTube, just so you know. We're not rigging this thing. All right, here we go. You guys can see the very legit site here.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, Madison.
Madison's
the first pick, then Laura, and
then
in last.
Wow.
All right. Well, Madison, you get to pick. Do you want to do the men's or the women's first?
Did we start with women's for Indian Wells? Should we do opposite for Miami?
Yeah, I think we did do women's first last time.
Okay. All right. Well, I will take my player first then. I feel so honored to get to go first. So I'm going to take from the top 10 category. I'm not going to make the same mistake that we've all made in Indian Wells. And I'm going to take Carlos Alcaraz because why not? I know he just won at Indian Wells, but if anybody could win at Miami again, and he would be the one, I feel like, with title defense in Miami to do it and to do it seamlessly. Like we said, we thought he was going to be injured, which is why all of us were a little nervous to pick him. But nope, he proved us all wrong. Just won the title down in Indian Wells. He's ready to go, looking good, made no mistakes. Let's go, Carlos Alcaraz.
Easy pick. The crowd loves him down here too. So obviously native Spanish speaker, and there's more native Spanish speakers in Miami than native English speakers. So he's a popular guy for sure.
It's a popular guy.
Yeah.
And on top of that, like, as everybody knows, just very likable, which also makes him an easy pick, because you're not worried about like, you're not thinking like, well, he, this and that. You're never thinking that. He's so nice.
Yeah.
He's a wholesome individual. That is for sure.
Laura.
Okay. My pick. I'm going to go with my Netflix category. And I'm going to take, again, I realize I took him for Indian Wells, but I'm taking Felix Auger-Aliassime. And not only because he did well in Indian Wells and, because I wasn't on the wrap-up podcast for Indian Wells, I absolutely destroyed these two of the men's in the men's draw for our draft. So humble brag. But I've been watching him a little bit on site, and not only are fans just like so excited to watch him, and he's always one of the players that are closest to where fans can watch. So like you would think you're like, I understand he's a professional tennis player, but the focus and the solid hitting that he's been doing the last couple of days that I've seen him practice, I'll take him. I think he's going to do really well.
That's a solid pick. I like it.
Thank you.
For those curious, we probably should shout out the Indian Wells draft just so you know who won. As Laura mentioned, here's the men's that you're seeing on screen. She crushed us. Wasn't even close. Madison and I were out pretty early. So that was tough. I did win. It did win the women's. It was
barely
squeaked it out.
Magdalene and that hurt me on that one.
Yeah, you just needed one more point to tie me there. I had 9 points. Laura had 8. Quite close. Surprised Laura's even on this podcast because Madison and I usually don't invite people once they beat us. So
that is true.
Yeah, but here she is. All right. For me, let's see. You guys took Netflix and top 10 players. Should I just start with the wild card right away?
Why not?
There you go.
I guess I have 2 picks anyway, so might as well. I want Taro Daniel in the wild card and protected ranking. He's been doing really well. If you saw, he qualified and then won a few rounds at Indian Wells, and he also did really well in Acapulco. So he's beat some really, really good players recently, and I'm gonna take Taro Daniel in a wild card. Okay, now I got my list here. Alcaraz is off the list apparently.
Yeah.
FAF. All right, give me Medvedev. Give me Medvedev in top 10. Obviously, he won 3 tournaments at the start of the year after Australian Open, and then he made the final in Indian Wells. And I gotta take somebody that feels like a big hitter to try to compete with Laura. Although with Madison having Alcaraz, who knows? Maybe she'll blitz us this time. So, all right. That's what I'm taking. So now it's back to Laura.
Okay, so I'm going to take from the top 10 category here, and I am going to go with Stefanos Tsitsipas. Other than his talent that you can see on court, I think that in the past he's done well in Miami, and he likes playing in the football stadium, as he said to us in interviews in the past. So it's nice to have somebody who understands that environment and enjoys it. So I think that he's a good pick to at least get me around for a while.
No doubt.
Yeah. He plays well in Miami, it seems like, too.
Yeah.
If I recall from last year.
Hopefully won't have another first round loss like Indian Wells.
Yeah.
I guess it wasn't the first round. His first match, second round of the tournament.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna take, I think, from Netflix. I know I took him last time, but I feel like I like to have at least one American on men's and women's on my team. And I think I'm gonna take Taylor Fritz. He did play really well in Indian Wells. He didn't quite defend his title, but he still played really well. He had that tough, loss in the semis?
Yeah, he lost
3 sets.
Yeah.
So I think he's playing really well. Played well in Acapulco. He obviously won Del Rey. So I think he's on kind of a little bit of a high right now. He's playing really strong and solid tennis. And it'll be cool to see kind of maybe a little bit more comparable conditions to what Acapulco was with the humidity. So I will be interested to see if he's able to play as well as he did there again. So I'll go Taylor Fritz for the Netflix category.
Okay, sorry, we were wrong. He lost in the quarters at Indian Wells.
Oh,
Lost
I'm
to
sorry.
Yannick Sinner. No, you're
Oh,
good.
yes.
I was
Yes.
also-
Quarter. I couldn't remember if it was quarters or semis. So
Yeah,
quarters, but
really
it
good
was
match,
3
though.
sets. Yeah, it was a great match. So
Yeah. Yeah, it looks like Fritz. Here's his draw. He's gonna play the winner of Emilio Nava or John Isner. So that could be if Isner wins that one, that'll be an
that could be
interesting first
that
match.
could be a close one. That's true.
Yeah, we got faith though.
We do.
All right, Laura, back to you.
Okay, I'm gonna take from field, and I'm not gonna like as much as I would like to take.
Actually, I'm sorry. Is it Madison's? Isn't it Madison's?
Oh, yeah, you get
Yeah,
another.
she gets another one. Yeah. No.
Oh,
All right,
I get
good.
2.
I'm glad I didn't say my name.
Yeah, she's gonna swipe him.
Well, I'm going to take from the field, and I'm going to take our Florida boy, Ben Shelton,
Oh, nice.
because I just feel like I know he lost in the first round in Delray, but I feel like Florida, he's looking good. He had that really strong match against Fritz at Indian Wells. I didn't even look at the draw, so that probably would have been helpful. But
No, he has
I
a
feel
pretty good draw.
he is I think I remember you commentating during our crowd live men's draw yesterday, Patrick, that he was in a good part of the draw. So I feel confident in that pick. Obviously, we know the crowds are going to back him. People love Ben Shelton. Let's go.
And you know what? Maybe Ben Shelton was just a little bit nervous in Indian Wells because he had this big deal with On Running to announce, and now he's announced it. So he's, all the weight is taken off. Also, as you guys probably saw, all of those photos, they haven't actually released the shoes that are coming with them yet. So all of the photos don't show Iga and Ben's feet. So excited to see what those come out.
Very.
Yeah, well, it'll be interesting to see if they wear the shoes right away. I know sometimes they sign these apparel deals, and if the shoes aren't quite ready, they just stick with what they're wearing. But obviously, On is a running shoe company to start, so we'll see. We'll see. Will they wear the Rogers or their own?
It's a good question. It kind of made it seem like the way that Ben was talking about it, he kind of made it seem like it was his own. But then again, I mean, who knows? From
Yeah,
that
we'll
part.
see. First time
Okay.
he's been seated at a tournament this big, Ben Shelton. So less
Woohoo.
than a year pro, and he's already a 32 seed at the Miami Open.
Insane.
Not too bad.
Not too bad.
All right. Now
Does when anyone hears "not too bad," do you think of that time that Djokovic was in that interview with that Italian reporter, and he was like, "Not too bad."
So good.
Okay, so I'm gonna pick from the field, and I was torn. Obviously, a person wants to pick Yannick Sinner because they did really well, but I picked him last round, and last tournament, and I'm not gonna make the same team. That just doesn't make any sense. The conditions are different. Like, people are tired after getting so far, that kind of thing. And I was torn between Frances Tiafoe and Alex de Minaur. But I'm going to take Frances Tiafoe. And let me tell you why. His draw looks a little better. So in terms of, obviously, he has a first round bye, and then he's got the winner of 2 qualifiers in second round. Whereas Alex de Minaur still could do pretty well because I think, the first seed he would run into would be Matteo Berrettini. But what I do see in the first round is Matteo Berrettini plays against quite possibly Mackie McDonald or Daniel Gallen. And Mackie McDonald has been kind of a giant slayer in the past. So if anybody has the ability to do that, it's him. So then if it's like, okay, well, if he's going to have to play that person third round, I think that Francis has a little bit of a better shot. He's going to get to the third round, and then he might meet Dan Evans. So I'm going to stick with that.
Yeah, that's a good pick. Berrettini.
That's a really good pick.
Berrettini's not playing his top form, so yeah, like you said, Mackie could definitely knock him out, and then we'll see. But okay, that was in field, so I have my last 2 picks. So I'm going to take Casper Ruud in Netflix. Here, let's pull up his draw real quick. I know I looked at it yesterday, and it was looking pretty good. And obviously Casper made the final here last year. So, okay, here he is right here. So he plays the winner of Ilya Ivashka and a lucky loser, which Ivashka, he can beat anybody on any given day. He hits it pretty hard. But if Ruud wins that one, then, you know, the biggest seed he could run into before the quarters looks to be Zverev, who also, you know, isn't playing like he's not all the way back yet. He played pretty well at Indian Wells, so he's getting there. But yeah, I'm going to take Ruud. And then for the field, I'm glad he left him on the board because I'm taking Sinner.
Yeah,
That's a great pick.
Actually, Sinner, as we typically do. Cahill.
Sinner, okay.
Peanut butter and jelly, those guys. Let's pull up Sinner's draw real quick. There he is at the bottom here. So he plays the winner of a lucky loser in Dier. And then he could play Dimitrov, but Dimitrov, I don't know. He's such a talented guy, but it seems like he plays the first set and a half and then withdraws with something like every tournament. So I'm not totally sure what the injury is, but, you know, and then he's in the bottom part here with Rublev. And Rublev has a hell of a second round, technically, first match, playing the winner of Bublik or Wolf. So, I mean,
what a first round match.
So Rublev's going to have a tough time just to get to where he would face Sinner. So I'm feeling pretty good about his section of the draw there. All right.
That's good.
Madison?
My last pick.
Is it Madison? No, we go back to Laura.
Oh, yeah, Laura.
There
we go.
I should put these things.
Yeah.
Okay, so my last pick is obviously from wildcard protected ranking. And I am going to take Kyle Edmund. And the reason being, first of all, I couldn't take Dominic Thiem as my wild card because he would then run into Francis Tiafoe, I think. Or he would run into one of my other picks, I know.
Let's see.
Anyway.
He's down here.
Yeah, so he would, right. So then essentially the idea is I could have two players playing against each other in the third round, and that's not great odds for me. So I'm picking Kyle Edmund because obviously been a great player in the past, clearly cares a lot about his career if he's coming back. I'm not saying that's not a tough first round. I don't know that he's going to get past Wu Bing, but let me tell you that if he does, I do think that Diego Schwartzman is one of the top players that people tend to take down in the first couple of rounds. As everybody knows, Diego Schwartzman is a short guy and he is a great returner, but there's some things you just can't return. And I think that becomes, the biggest kind of issue. And he tends to be the one that I think people, a higher player that people tend to take down. So if he can get past Wu Bing, I think he'll be okay in round 2, but I'm not saying it won't be hard, but we'll see how it goes.
Yeah. Hey, I picked Wu Bing in the last tournament, and did I get any points? Let's see. I don't even remember if he won a match. He won one. Okay.
Yeah.
But then he played Nori, so that's a tough. Anyway. All right. So now we have one more pick for Madison.
All right. Well, I am going to take Dominic Thiem just because he lost in the first round of Indian Wells against Mannarino, but it was a close match. It really could have gone either way. I feel like he just seems to be a guy that's really well liked by the crowd. Like, people get really excited when he's at tournaments. I think he takes on Lorenzo Sonego in the first round. Is that correct?
Yep. Here he is. Right.
Yep. Okay. So he could potentially face off against Evans if he wins that one. But that is another player who people have beaten in the past, Stan Evans. I don't know. It could go either way. So I feel like Dominic Thiem is kind of a grinder, and I think he can make it through that, at least that first round, get me 1 point.
That's all we need with these wild cards.
Just 1 point.
1 point.
Yeah.
The next 2 is like,
yeah.
wow.
Yeah, exactly. So that's who I'll take.
It'll be exciting when he's fully back. Hopefully, I know he's had some struggles with wrist injuries for a while now because he has so much action on all his ground strokes. He just slaps the thing. So we'll see.
He's fun to watch. That's for sure.
Grand Slam champion, 2020 U.S. Open.
There we go.
All right, just to recap real quick for the men, Laura has Felix Auger-Aliassime, Netflix, Tsitsipas top 10, Tiafoe in the field, and Kyle Edmund in wildcard protected ranking. I have Taro Daniel, wildcard protected ranking, Medvedev top 10, Rude, Netflix, and Sinner, Cahill, field. Madison has Alcaraz top 10, Fritz, Netflix, Shelton, field, team, wildcard protected ranking. All right. Pretty good teams, right?
Yeah, they look good. But we said that the last time.
they always look good.
I mean,
nice
yeah.
and clean like this. Nobody's crossed off yet. Let's jump to the women because that is about to start at 11 a.m. Eastern time today. So likely by the time you listen to this podcast, the tournament will already be started. But we'll have you know we picked it before. So
we did.
Okay, so I went last time. So
you get to start.
Yeah, and then Laura's in the middle again, and then Madison will go last. All right. I mean, I'm taking Swiatek. She won the tournament last year. She had a pretty good draw. If I can pull it up right here. You can see here, she's going to face maybe Ostapenko in the round of 16. Now she may be playing Rybakina in the quarters, so that'll be another challenge for her. Hopefully she learned some good things in the last go around and super motivated now that she's not like winning every tournament to kind of make a run here and defend those points. So I'm taking Iga.
I like it. Can't go wrong.
She's listed in Netflix, I think, just because in the case where there weren't enough players left, she's not really featured in the first half. She's going to be in the second half. So I don't know. She's on there, but now she's not, I guess. All right, Laura.
Okay. I am also going to take from top 10. And, I guess actually, I'm going to be taking from Netflix. I won't make this mistake again like we did for the men's or I thought, she might be streaky, whatever. I'm taking Aryna Sabalenka and I'm rolling with it. She seems like she's just in good spirits, which for somebody that plays the way that she does is like imperative. So I'm taking her and I have no regrets.
Definitely not. And also for the fans out there, we realize she also wasn't really featured in the first half, but she's in the second half. So that's why she's on the list.
Dang. Well, that was also my pick for Netflix. That's a really solid one. So now I'm just pulling up the draw here just to make sure. Well, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and pick from top 10 as well. I'm going to take Elena Rybakina just because of how well she's been playing this year. Made the final at the Australian Open and just beat Aryna at Indian Wells. I think she's playing really consistent tennis. Potential to go far in this tournament. Like you said, she could face Iga potentially, which could be an absolute battle. She got the best of her, obviously, in Indian Wells, but you never know what could happen in Miami. Iga defending the title, so we'll see what happens, but I think she has potential to go pretty far in this draw.
Definitely. She got Badosa maybe in the third round. That'll be a tough. I mean, I would take Rybakina still, but that could be challenging.
It could be.
All right. You get another pick.
Oh, okay. Well, then I'll go ahead. I'm not going to take Badosa from Netflix because they have potential to play each other. So we'll go ahead and I'm going to take Ons Jabeur from the Netflix category. I know she's had a little bit of a rough patch as of late, but I think she made it through a couple rounds last year. Miami had to buy the first round. I'm feeling good about that. I think she's ready. I want her to do well.
Yeah, time to turn it around.
Turn it around.
Pretty good draw as well.
Yeah, she's got a good draw. So I feel confident in that pick. Come on, Ons. Let's go. Mayor of Happiness, or what's her nickname? Mayor of Happiness. Minister. There we go. Minister of Happiness. Bring the happiness to the fans and let's get some wins here in Miami.
Love it.
All right. Is it my turn? Yeah. I'm doing an absolute stack here. Maria Sakkari. And okay, so first of all, I think one of the most exciting first round matchups on the women's side, oh yeah, it's my top 10, thank you, is there is Bianca Andreescu against Emma Raducanu. Now, the two of them, one of them has to get through the other one to get to your prize is Maria Sakkari. Wow. Like what a prize. And then her draw looks pretty good going forward. Like she might face Kalinina. The first person she'd really run into would be Belinda Bencic, which is obviously nothing to sneeze at there. Belinda Bencic is an incredible player, but I think that gives her a good shot to get relatively far in the tournament. Again, though, one of the things about it is that you can never count out a Grand Slam champion. So you've got Bianca and Emma. I mean, if they're in top form, they're really going for it. I saw Emma practice yesterday. She's practicing really well. I haven't seen Bianca. And, with injuries and stuff, she hasn't quite been at the top of her game. So I think that since before the pandemic. So I think that's a good top 10 pick.
All right. So I have 2 picks. I'm taking wild card protected ranking. Tough decision. I think I got to take Kruger, Ashlyn Kruger. She's done really well lately in Austin and Indian Wells. I think she qualified as well. And she plays on Driva in the first round, right? And she just beat her at Austin, right here. And then she plays kind of a lower seed after that if she does win. So I feel like she's got the chance to maybe get me 2 points, which, as we said, that's all we need in this category. So, okay, I'm taking Kruger there. And then I need to take Field and Netflix. You guys have both already taken Netflix, so I should probably take a Field player. I think I know who I want, but let me just peruse the draw real quick just to make sure. I'm not picking as a rank. Well, she's not top 10, but she lost first round for me last year. So sorry, Vika. All right. I think I want to take Donna Vekic. Krejcikova, though, is right there. I feel like she could. All right, I'm sorry, I'm backtracking. I'm going Krejcikova. She's been playing really well recently, and she has a pretty good draw. Doesn't run into any of my players. She runs into Sabalenka right here, round of 16. So hopefully we can knock that player out so I can top Laura again in the women's, All right, that's who I'm taking. Okay, so Laura's up. Oh, no, wait. Do I get 2? Did I? No, I didn't pick 2. What am I saying?
Oh, good. Laura, you're up.
So I'm going to pick from the field, and I'm going to go with Danielle Collins.
Right.
The intensity of Danielle Collins is unmatched. She played well in Miami last year. I know that Indian Wells, like she's had a bit of a rough start to the year, but I think that given her draw, so she gets into, she's obviously into round 2. And then I fully realize that she runs into Jess Pegula, but I think that with their demeanors being so opposite, that it can, kind of favor Danielle in a way if everything's set up right for her. And I also think that Jess has expressed in the past, whether this is true or not, I haven't checked 100% since she said this to us, but she did tell us in the past that she felt like when she was one of the top seeds, she doesn't play as well as she wants to. Like last year and at the City Open, she was the top seed, and she was like, I feel like when I'm the I realize she's not the number 1 seed here, but she's like, I feel like when I'm the number 1 seed, I don't play very well. I might bite my tongue later on because Jess, I think, is she lives in Boca, so she's able to like stay at home, see her dogs, whatever. So that might give her some more momentum here, but I'm going to go with Danielle Collins as my field pick.
And Pegula might have a really tough second round there if Frubertova wins that. She did really well at this tournament last year. I think Frubertova made like the quarterfinals or something of the 2022 Miami Open. I'm going to fact check that while Madison, you're up.
Okay. I'm just taking a peek at the draw here. I feel like got to get my American on the team. Do I have 2 picks or just 1?
2.
You have 2.
2. Okay. Well, then I guess it doesn't matter. So I think for my field, I'm going to take Veronika Kudermatova for my field pick. I was just pulling up her draw.
That's a sleeper pick. That's a good pick.
I feel like she's got a pretty solid draw. Potential to face Karolina Pliskova in the 3rd round. However, I feel like Veronica, like Laura just mentioned, is kind of underrated and people often discount her, but then she just comes out absolutely blazing and ready to go. So I feel like she's a really solid player. She seems to be, for the most part, very consistent in her matches, especially the tournaments where she goes far. So I feel like that's a solid field pick. And then for my wild card protected ranking, I want to take an American since I don't have one on my women's team. I just want one. This is a tough category.
Yeah.
Especially with it starting in just a mere few hours. Let me see. You took Kruger already. She would have been, she's a solid pick. I was looking at, I think I'm going to go out on a limb here and take Robin Montgomery.
Okay.
I know she's had a tough, hasn't really made it to the main draw yet. So this could be, this is a good for her to make it.
She's in this one. So that's good.
Right. She's into the main draw. So this is already a good start for her. I just feel like she's kind of spunky, broke into the top 200. So let's see how she does. We just need one win from you, Robin. Let's go.
She could win. I mean, Madison is definitely one of those players, Madison Keys, that, is off and on. So she's got
for sure
as well. Linda Fruhvirtova made the round of 16 last year, so I was one round off on that, but she plays really well here. So, all right, Laura, you have your last pick.
Okay, we're talking about the Fruhvirtovas, and I'm gonna go with Brenda as my wild ranking pick. Now, listen, there needs to be a young player that breaks out at this tournament. I have faith in Brenda. Her sister did well last year. Obviously, they gave her a wild card for a reason. And I think that she's got, a good shot if she can get past round 1. I think that Petra Martic is a good second round. I'm not saying that, I think one of the things is you don't quite have the experience as some of a player like Petra. So once you get to her, but also there's something to consider in the fact that Petra won't have played an actual match until Thursday or whatever day it is, which I think sometimes can hurt these higher ranked players or higher ranked players, just because, they haven't gotten actual match play in yet. And somebody like Brenda will have done so.
And she's 15, so playing a 15-year-old as a pro,
that's crazy.
That can be mentally challenging. So yeah. I picked her actually to go pretty far in bracket battle. Brenda Fruhvirtova. She's in a really good spot in the draw there. So okay. So you guys have all your players, so I just have to pick Netflix. So I'm gonna take Sakari's out, right?
You can,
Yep. Anjaber.
Okay, well, I got no choice, but you know what? I like where Badosa is at as well. I think she's going to run into Rybakina, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, in the 3rd round there. But I don't know. Badosa did really well at this tournament last year, and I'm just going to hope Rybakina is a little tired. She obviously just won Indian Wells, so.
And I saw Paula practicing with Leylah Fernandez yesterday, and they were hitting the absolute crap out of the ball. So they looked like, and she always is in a good mood, high spirits, whatever, which I think with the tournament this big and this long. So it's a good pick.
Yeah, I'm looking last year just to confirm, so I'm not wrong again where she got, but she at least made the round of 16. She made the quarters, right? Yep, she made the quarters, beat Linda Fruhvirtova in the quarters. Then she lost. She had to withdraw against Pegula in the quarterfinals.
Oh, it was so hot last year that there were a good amount of players that got. I don't remember if that was her specifically, but I remember she wasn't feeling well. And I don't believe that there wasn't like a injury, like something happened on court or something. Like I remember her not feeling well.
The heat. Ugh.
Yeah. I don't know that's not official for those watching at home. I'm not, but I
Google
remember
it.
how hot it was last year, and I think a lot of players ended up running into some issues not feeling well. So who knows if it was that or whatnot, but I think definitely that means she's not set back from an injury. So
That is true.
All right, that's the women's draft. So Laura has Sabalenka and Netflix, Sakari top 10, Collins in the field, and Brenda Fruvertova wildcard protected ranking. I have Swiatek top 10, Ashlyn Kruger wildcard protected ranking, Krejcikova field, Badosa Netflix, and Madison has Rybakina top 10, Jabeur Netflix, Kudermetova in the field, and Robin Montgomery wildcard protected ranking. What's on the line for this one?
Oh, that's a great question.
You have to pay for something out of the TennisONE Pro Shop for the winner. The two.
Yeah, we go to tournaments a lot. We need as much gear as we can get.
That is true.
Yeah.
That's not a bad wager.
All right. You heard it here first. We have a TennisONE Pro Shop for those that don't know. There's banners in the app. Click on them. Get yourself a hat, t-shirt, beanbag. I mean, what isn't on there, really?
Yeah.
Everything you can imagine. All right. Well, these are good teams. We'll see what happens. Once again, because Indian Wells, there were some upsets in Indian Wells, as there always is in tennis. So we'll see.
Yeah, I haven't heard about the courts here. Obviously, Indian Wells they're so slow. They're so slow. So I'm sure they can't be as slow as there. But
right.
Yeah.
That humidity, though.
Yeah, it's no joke.
Make those balls heavy.
That's true.
That's what they said in Del Rey. So I don't know. Miami might be. You're right by the water. It looks beautiful though. So Laura and Patrick are gonna kind of give you guys the lowdown. We're gonna take a quick break, but when we come back, they're gonna talk all things Miami Open, kind of our exclusive coverage in Miami. So make sure you follow along in TennisONE.
All right, guys, we're back. Thanks for going through the break with us. We're down at the Miami Open, as we mentioned earlier in the podcast, Laura and myself, and we've been running around the grounds first couple days, just taking it all in. Laura, you've been out at the practice courts, right?
Yeah, absolutely. The practice courts are really awesome because you can get pretty up close and personal with the players, and there are so many practice courts, so there's definitely always somebody to watch. And we've had fans message us on Instagram or Twitter and just kind of say, oh, have you seen this person? Or I see, because we do have the practice court schedule in the TennisONE app, people will look at that and they'll be like, oh, I haven't seen any videos. Yesterday, somebody asked about Emma Raducanu and I saw that she was practicing. We posted some stuff on our story about that. So if there's somebody you want to see content of, please message us and we'll do our best to get over to the practice courts. We can't, just as a note, we can't take any match footage, so we won't be able to do that kind of thing. You gotta go to TV for that, but we, behind the scenes stuff like practice courts, definitely we can get you some content. So if there's somebody you want to see, let us know. We're happy to do it.
Yeah, we got some videos for a big Potapova fan the other day. So look, we'll track it down. Shoot us a message on Instagram. Is probably the one we check the DMs the most. So that'll be the quickest if you want to see somebody specific. But we also have the tournament schedule. We just wanted to talk you guys through because we've also gotten a lot of questions on that. Today, Tuesday, is the start of the women's main draw. So that starts at 11 a.m. Eastern time. So that's super exciting. Men's still doing the qualifying. Today will be the last round of qualifying for them. So it's sort of a staggered start at this tournament, which I believe is a little different than Indian Wells. And then tomorrow, both main draws are going on. I believe tomorrow is the first day of Hard Rock Stadium, if I'm not correct. I know that they're not playing in there today. So yeah, but if you need to see the tournament schedule, the best way to see as a full picture, like what rounds are on what days, definitely Miami Open website, and you just go to the tournament tab and then schedule. And you can see here, if you're watching on YouTube, this is where you can find all the different sessions where you can buy tickets. You can also buy them in the TennisONE app. But yeah, we have a lot going on in there. So definitely check out the app. We have a chat tab in the Miami Open section that if you have a question, we're checking those a couple times a day. So we'll respond there. Today we're doing Media Day, which is super exciting. Right, Laura? I have the list of players here that we're going to be getting interviews with throughout the day. And I think, am I wrong? Do they do Media Day tomorrow also, right?
I think a lot of times because there's so many players that people request during Miami, and as Patrick mentioned earlier in the podcast, because there's so many Spanish speakers here, a lot of the Spanish speaking players do Media Day in addition. So it's going to be, today and tomorrow are going to be pretty busy days for us in the TennisONE app. So if you're like wanting to see those top players in behind the scenes interviews, we'll have those loaded in the app throughout the day. You'll see them on social later on, but they're always in the app first. So make sure you check there.
Definitely. Today we have to read off the list for you at Media Day: Carlos Alcaraz, Taylor Fritz, Jerry Shang, Stefanos Tsitsipas, Ons Jabeur, Jess Pegula, Vika Azarenka, Coco Gauff, Arina Sabalenka, Frances Tiafoe. Who are these people again? I've never heard of any of them. No.
Yeah, that's a killer lineup. So can't wait to hear from them before one of the biggest events in the United States. So
yeah, really exciting. We're pumped to be down here and just getting going. We've been here a couple days already, and yeah, we have like another 2 weeks to go. So really exciting. Like Laura said, behind the scenes stuff on our social. Check Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube. We're putting everything on there, probably Instagram and Twitter most often. So shoot us a message if you want to see something specific. Let us know if you have any questions about the app. If you're having some kind of technical issue, you can always email us support@bleacher, BLEACHR.co with any app technical questions. But yeah, thanks for listening as always, guys. And if you're listening on Spotify, we appreciate a follow and rating. And if you're listening in the app or on YouTube, you can comment, you can ask questions. We'll read through those at the start of each episode. And yeah, Miami Open. Let's do it, Laura.
Thanks, everybody. See you next time.